everyone, welcome back to Superhuman Customs. I'm Stephen Human, and today we've got something, I don't know how this is going to turn out. So I've been doing the Justice Lords, obviously, and you guys have seen that I don't care about the Justice Lords, and it's impacted the quality of the custom figures that I've done. The Batman turned out great, got no problem with that. The Superman and the Wonder Woman, I'm not super happy with how they turned out. Well, this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I had these wings from an old Hawkgirl that my daughter had years ago, and they broke off, and I just threw them in my extras drawer, and I was like, I don't know if I'll ever use them, but they're cool. So I've been wanting to do a Hawkgirl using this Justice Hawkgirl head, okay? Well, I bought this wrestling figure for a base for a Lois Lane a long time ago, and I didn't end up using it because I switched out the heads on the Supergirl from the Flash movie and turned that into my Lois Lane. So this has just been in the extras box. So I am going to turn her into a Justice Lord Hawkgirl. And we're gonna use this head. We're gonna use a bunch of the different, strategies that we've used in the past. And she's a little bit smaller, which I'm okay with. She'll be a little bit shorter than the others because Hawkgirl generally is shown as being a little bit shorter. So I think scale-wise, she's gonna do awesome. Hopefully I can, make this work and have it be awesome and not allow my not disdain, but apathy toward the Justice Lords to impact this. So hopefully this one will turn out awesome. Let's see. So I heated her up and popped her head off, and you'll see how this will look. We'll probably need to trim it down. All this hair is going to come off. And I think that once the hair and the ears are gone, the scale is going to look okay. Hopefully. There's no guarantees with this one, people. Now, Hawkgirl's color is kind of hard to pin down. It's like a really dark red. So we're just gonna spray paint her black and use that as the base. All right, we got to remove her ears, so I'm just gonna use this. And now let's sand this sucker down so that she's got more of a round head. If you guys don't have a belt sander, I honestly cannot recommend one highly enough. It is so awesome. Well, everything's drying outside. We're going to do a wash over these wings. We're going to do what we did with the Hawkman, and we're going to highlight all these details, and then we're going to do a dry brush over the top of a white so that they can just look a little bit better. And as always, you dab, dab. You can see how it's really getting in there. That's what we want. And we're just going to go over these wings and give them the texture that they deserve. What I'm finding is working really well on these wings is putting a really thick coat on, like this, and then wiping it away. It's filling in all those little cracks. Look at that. So simple, so quick. It doesn't even require any like real skill. Just look at that. Oh, so nice. Now what I'm going to do while all this stuff is drying is I'm going to carve in with an X-Acto knife just some lines to make it look kind of like the feathers going across her face. Now in the Justice Lord cartoons, she doesn't have this. It's very just, I believe it's just kind of like a smooth helmet, but I like the feathers up here, so I'm just going to give it that look before we paint it with some gold. Just scour it, and you should be able to match it pretty good. I mean, unless someone's really looking at it. But if someone's really looking at it and judging this stuff, then you need to kick them out of your house because they're not your friend. I'm going to try a light gray first and see what it does with a dry brush. And then I'm going to do the white, I think. Oh, that was too much. Remember, just get a little bit on there because otherwise it'll add too much of an accent. You just want it to hit these areas. I think this gray looks good, but I think I am going to need to do a white. But this is a good start. All right, now let's do the white. See, that makes a huge change. So you really don't want much. Just a little bit. That's all we need right there for that whole wing. Not much at all. Glad I started with the back because I got a little bit too much up top. And so now I know going into the inside, I will use less. I'll get a really nice dusting and I'll move a little slower. Yeah, look at that. Very nice. Look at that. I'm going to go through with the gold and patch in this stuff. Actually, you know what I'm thinking? I'm going to go darker first. Let's go darker first. All right, brown first. I think that's going to work much better. Give it the base matching color. And then I can do the gold over the top. Oh, see, that's much better. I'm glad I thought of that. Because now we can go through and add the gold as a dry brush, and it's going to look much, much better that way. You can even do some brown over the top here, make it match a little bit more. Since she really has a strange dark, almost reddish brown color to her, I mixed some metallic red with some black, and it came out as kind of a just off brown, but I'm hoping it'll have a metallic sheen to it a little bit. And so I'm just going to do a light coat over the top of everything in order to give it this strange color. And hopefully it'll be sufficient. I mean, obviously it's not going to be straight black, and neither is she. And honestly, it's hard to tell exactly what color she is, like what her suit is. So I'm going to say that this is sufficient. This is what it is. It's this funky metallic brown. Now we're going to do the gold. And I think it will work much, much better over the brown. We can do a layer over the rest here and really make it match. All the Justice Lords have funky little like stripes on their arms and legs. I didn't do it with Wonder Woman because I was just sick of working on that figure. We'll do them on Hawkgirl, but I'm just going to do the one on the legs and one on each arm instead of the two, because I honestly don't want to do all the other ones. It's a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to cut these strips out of our wrestler vest, like always, and then paint them gold. And then we'll glue them in place. Nothing more complicated than that. And we're gluing on these little things. Just with some super glue. Nice and simple. Hold them in place. You can see I've already done them on the feet, or on the legs. And they should stick pretty dang quick. I'm just using regular super glue is all. Time has come for some flesh tone up here. It's going to take more than one coat to get it to where we need it to be, but we'll start it and get it in place. And just go across here. I put the other paint up as high as here, and then we'll form the simple symbol, which is just, you can just paint it in. It's got like a little, like that. That's basically all you need. And then do a really light first coat. So we're going to use this as part of a stand, and that's what we're going to shove in here and into her back. So we're going to have to drill some holes. So this drill bit is the right size, hopefully. And we're just going to drill holes in all of this stuff and hope it works. That works, baby. Woo! Now just to run a test to make sure I drilled in my holes at the same angle, it looks like they are good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut these and glue them in place, and then do the same thing to Hawkgirl's back. Moment of truth, which is drilling the holes in the back. Now I'm going to try and go in at an angle because everything else, the stuff sticking out of the wings are at an angle. But I'm not sure exactly how this is going to turn out, so I'm just going to drill it in first and try and go in at an angle. Okay, there we go. Now let's do the other one. We'll see how this works out. Not too shabby. We just got to glue everything in place. And I think we've got her figured out. I'm very excited. I was very nervous about all of this. And there we go. This was a deceptively simple one that wasn't all that simple. adding all of these little pieces, we've obviously done that before. It's not my favorite thing. They don't ever turn out quite perfect, but they look good on her with the gold. I'm really glad that I mixed that red and black paint because it gave her what I feel is the right color, because it was more of a brown, but it had kind of a sheen to it. That works. But having the wings and the head really do sell this figure. I've wanted to do a Hawkgirl for a really long time, merely because I had these wings left over from a broken Hawkgirl years ago, and I had this head. But whenever I would sit down to do it, I was like, it doesn't feel right. This felt right. This felt good, and I think this figure turned out really good and will look excellent along with the other Justice Lords. So very happy with how she turned out. So this is good. So again, it goes back to, I think, I was more excited about making this one than I was about the Wonder Woman and the Superman. And that's why they didn't turn out as well. So it's really changing how I do things here on the channel, like what figures I'm going to go after next. Because this has kind of altered how I think, where it's like, oh, if I'm not excited about what I'm turning the figure into, then it's not going to turn out as good. That's all there is to it. So I don't know if that's how it is with you guys. Let me know. Comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And show me pictures of your guys' stuff. I'm at Superhuman on Instagram. Share your photos of your action figures, your customs. Love to see them. Again, I'm Stephen Human. This is Superhuman Customs. Check out stephenhuman.com for all of my novels, and I'll see you next week.